Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Val, the new documentary currently available on Amazon Prime. Documentary autobiography. Is that the proper term for Val Kilmer, the actor, the artist, the cinematographer? A great documentary. It's one I heard of recently. I'm a fan of Val Kilmer, but didn't really follow his career that closely. Obviously enjoyed, Willow as a kid. Top Gun was a great movie. Even independent movies like Big Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Salt and Sea are great. Heat, he's amazing in Heat. I mean, I really enjoy him as an actor, and I didn't really know what happened to him. There was the thing where he was doing this one-man show as Mark Twain. I know a lot of people talking about, usually kind of disparagingly, kind of making fun of Val Kilmer for doing this one-man show. But in the documentary, you hear his reasoning for it, which makes complete sense. But this is a documentary that Val Kilmer has been unknowingly creating for his 40-year career. He's one of the first people he knew to get a video camera and documented everything, all of his life. And he's collected all of these things, like they show in the documentary, this like storage facility that has all of the things he's collected throughout his career. So it's an examination of Val Kilmer's life as an artist, as an actor, as somebody who is a creative person, but in the Hollywood system, and how those two things don't necessarily mash up. Just really cool to see. It's also like, seeing how he started as doing stage, as a stage actor, and then how he moved into film, how he would self-tape like crazy. Like crazy. Anytime he heard of a film that he wanted to be a part of, he would film audition tapes for all these directors. Like things that actors today could do exponentially easier just using their phone, recording these like audition tapes to like cold call and give directors. And that's what Val Kilmer was doing. Like he was hustling. He was wanted to be a professional actor and did everything in his power to get roles. And once he started getting roles, he realized what it means to be an actor in Hollywood, in the Hollywood system. He worked for some people. I think may have been The Island of Dr. Moreau was the one where he really understood what it meant to be an actor in Hollywood, as well as the Batman film when he was Batman. He just kind of understood he was more of an employee to speak lines than he is to be a creative artist on screen. And that's not who he is. He's a creative person. He not only made like the audition tapes were crazy to see all those clips of him. Whether he's a good actor or not a good actor, that's I'm sure given the right opportunity, he would be amazing in things, and he was amazing in things. It's also how he got the gig being for the Doors, which is the version of that story that I heard many years ago, is that Val Kilmer did a demo tape of him singing the Doors songs, and he submitted that demo tape to the producers, and that is how he got the role. It's very similar. Val recorded himself doing these audition tapes, and he sang the Doors songs on his own. He spent like a year of his life trying to learn all the movements and mannerisms of the leader of the Doors, which I'm blanking on his name, and just how dedicated he was. Just dedicated to the art of being an actor. When he was in Top Gun, like it was a role that was a nothing role, but he, on his own, to flesh out the character more, he wrote his own backstory for Iceman and all these things to just kind of ground his character in a way. He was saying in this documentary that there's every single time he's at an airport every airport he's ever been to, every pilot will call him Iceman. Like it's just like him because he's on this tour now. Like the reality of Val Kilmer in today's world is that he's a cancer survivor. That he had throat cancer, I think it was. And because of that, he has like a tube in his throat, and he can't speak very well. But he says he's recovered, and he has a sense of humor. There's a scene where he's like putting on hair gel, and it's just like he just pretends to fall, or he just falls down, but he's pretending to be in bad shape, and the person filming is like really concerned. But he was just playing a joke. Like he's still like within, even though he's shades of who he used to be, you know, he's gotta speak through the breathing tube kind of. It just it's crazy, but it's what he's wanted to do is document his life, and this is like his opportunity finally to put all those pieces together in a film. He had his son narrate the documentary, so it's great. It shows his history with his family and how his dad contributed to having Val Kilmer have to financially start over multiple times. Made me very thankful to not have any family. I mean, it's insane how much family, people's like undying loyalty to their family will just completely destroy them. And then it's like, fine. It's like, okay. But yeah, it's you get to see him as a stage actor, a film actor, then doing the one-man play, which was him doing Mark Twain, which the great American storyteller. How else better to tell the story of America than through the words of Mark Twain? So he, this diving into the character of Mark Twain, which when they showed the clips of him, he wanted to do a movie, and he was funding the movie by doing this live stage thing, which took off, but he never was able to do the movie because he got cancer. So it's him doing that one-man play. And now that he can't act anymore, although I would still love to see, there are roles that he can play. Even though he's got to breathe through the tube, whatever. Like, he can be like a crime boss in a restaurant giving the orders or whatever it is. Like, there are still roles that he could play, which would be cool to see Val Kilmer back in a film doing something despite his change in abilities. But he's focused on visual arts, which is something that a dream similar to a dream that he's had his whole career. He has this dream that he talked about he bought all this land in New Mexico, and he wanted to develop it and turn it into a giant artist community where people can live and be creative and create. Because that's the thing he loved. He was an artist through and through. He loved creating. His art form just happened to be as an actor, but he's also a visual artist. They show a bunch of his artwork. But his dream was to do that, to make that art community in New Mexico. But because of debts, he had to sell it off. But now he has a little corner gallery in town. I don't know what town it is. Maybe in New Mexico. A gallery studio for him to create and for other people to go and collaborate. So it's also a documentary about a guy who had a dream, and he accomplished that dream. It's just the details of that goal, of that dream, were different. And I think that's similar to a lot of goals that people have. I think people try to use goals as a snapshot of what everything will exactly look like. Whereas the goal is a good destination. But nobody's psychic, and nobody can know what the details of the reality of what that goal can be. But his goal was to create a creative space for artists, and it might be a lot smaller, but he still did it. It may not be out in like this sprawling countryside. It's, in a downtown area, but it's still serving the same purpose. The goal was achieved despite the details being different. And I think that's a big part of what this documentary talks about is just, it's just, you can only plan so much in life. You can never plan. Val Kilmer shooting Top Gun could never have predicted that he was going to lose his voice to cancer. Not something that you could predict. But despite the changes in life, Val Kilmer being who he is, he was still able to achieve the goals that he wanted to achieve. He just did it in a different way. There's an infinite amount of ways to achieve any goal. And it's just not giving up and being determined is how you achieve it. And a lot of people are so attached to the details that they don't feel that they've achieved anything, which is sad. It's really sad to see people that have achieved that they don't even know that they've achieved their goals. And it's just because the details of their goals look different from what they thought they would be. And it's sad that they're living in their dream, but for myself, in a lot of ways, I'm living a dream. It's just not, the details aren't the same, but specifically monetarily. But I'm doing what I want. I'm surviving doing what I want, which is as close to living the dream as I can get at the moment. And that's similarly to Val Kilmer. Just trying to be the best artist that he can be, given the opportunities that he's been given. Some people called him a difficult person to work with, and I think that's just people not wanting to, that don't care about, they treat film like a job, like building a house, where, Val Kilmer is like a canvas, and you different colors, different paints to create a story. It's a completely different mindset to be at. So it's, a lot of people like to talk shit when it's just, I don't know. But it's really good. It's really good to watch, really interesting to watch. You also see, if you see Val Kilmer now, aside from the physical health differences, being kind of much frailer than you would think, and talking out of a breathing tube and all of that. He's wearing like a bunch of like jewelry, like Southwest style jewelry, like stones and emeralds and things. And this documentary explains, doesn't explain, but you see why. Because Val was a big mama's boy. He loved his mom, and when she passed away, he started to wear all of her jewelry to kind of keep her close to him, keep her memory alive. Touching. You want to talk about emotional breakdown? Not really breakdown, but definitely an emotional part of the movie when you realize that, he's wearing all the jewelry because his mom died and he's just damaged from it. And there's story about his brother dying as a child. Had an epileptic fit in the hot tub as a kid and died. And he was the director of the family. He was the one that filmed all these short films that the Kilmer boys would make. And when he died, it's like it was a big void for the family, a big void for Val, and he thought he was done. It's crazy. It's interesting. It's an interesting autobiography about an artist working in the Hollywood system, kind of coming up in that Hollywood system, and really interesting, really entertaining, really heartfelt. And it's also about following your dreams and achieving your dreams, despite the fact that they may have the details of your dream may be different from what you had first imagined. But yeah. Check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Val, V-A-L, Val. Great documentary. Get yourself some amazing coffee over at stationhousecoffee.com and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. That's your place for small batch, single origin, premium coffee brewed in Thetford Center, Vermont, shipped directly to you. Go now to stationhousecoffee.com and order yourself some amazing coffee. And don't forget to follow Station House Coffee. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!